A mother does everything she can to protect her child during a bloodthirsty zombie apocalypse in Virus 32, a Shudder original written and directed by Gustavo Hernandez, who directed the original The Silent House, also written by Huma Fad, who wrote You Shall Not Sleep. This is set in Argentina, so I apologize if I screwed up either of those names. And as far as stars, this has a pretty small core of people. They really only focus on a few characters, while there is an army of infected swirling about and ripping people apart and just doing what it is that infected zombie people do. So, as far as plot, there isn't really much of a plot to this, but when I saw it was from the director of The Silent House, I'm like, okay, we're going to get some good atmosphere and some good camera work. And that's basically what we got here. I'll be honest, though, as far as zombie movies, I'm pretty much zombied out. Like, Dawn of the Dead, that remake, that had some good stuff to it. It was breezy, it was fun, and there have been some other good zombie movies since. But they've pretty much just ripped all the brains out. They've eaten the entire corpse. There's really not much left of the zombie genre. And then when 28 days later and 28 weeks later, we didn't get 28 weeks later. We didn't get 28 months later, 28 years later, 28 centuries later. That would have been funny. Zombies in space. We didn't get that. As far as this is basically taking a few ideas from other zombie movies and putting it in a 90-minute film that's almost a bit of a family drama with zombie film overtones. Now, I'm not going to say this movie's bad. In fact, this movie does actually have some good stuff to it, but it's also kind of basic. The characters are sort of established, and we get the impending doom that, doom of these infected. They're just swarming whatever city we're in Argentina. I actually have no idea which one it is. And you have a few characters focused on. You have Iris, who is a mother trying to overcome the loss of a child after just a couple of years, but has another daughter and has her boyfriend, husband. They don't really establish that, Javi. And Iris, she's going to go to work. She's going to take her daughter Tata with her. And Tata, I'm sorry, I can't help but say that. Yata, no, not like that. Take her to work. And this work basically involves her doing security in a building that doesn't look like it's been used in a while. It's like they're just doing security for a building that's going to be deconstructed. It's a little bit odd, but there's also a club below. And then there's a pool. It's like a health club / dance club / whatever the fuck. It's just an amalgamation of a few things. And naturally, she takes her to work. It's take your daughter to work day when the zombie infected are outside. And this virus just comes without warning. There's no reason why this virus is happening. It just happens. Just boom, there you go. People are infected, and that happens. Aha, but there's a twist. A bit of a twist that I wasn't sure how they were going to pull off, but they actually pulled it off quite well. Whenever the attacks are done, there's 32 seconds that somebody has to get away if they weren't one of the ones eaten. Because whenever these zombies attack and they're done, I guess they have such an adrenaline rush now. They can't stand the adrenaline rush, and they have to basically rest for 32 seconds. Why? Who knows? It's a unique twist. I'll give them that much credit. And a couple other characters come in, and with maybe weird motivations, as it were, and from there, we basically have a movie that's set in one location. So yeah, it's not necessarily like a big budget movie. There's nothing wrong with low budget, though. The zombie effects were fine. There was one particular bit of animal violence I could have done without. I'll get into spoilers here in a little bit. I will say the acting certainly isn't all that bad. Iris Paula Silva, she did pretty well. And the kid did fine. There's a character, Louise, also that factors in for subplot that pretty much pushes this movie to the 90 minutes, because had that not been in there, well, one, you wouldn't have really had anybody to necessarily root for or against, and you also would have had maybe a 60-minute movie, and you could have probably cut that down, just put it into an anthology. So it pushed it along just fine. The plot, such as it is, isn't, necessarily deep, but it does prove what would somebody do to go and rescue their child. What would they do to protect their child, even though they were the one that brought them to work. But then again, if she hadn't, who knows if the daughter would have survived. And then there are certain things about these zombies that we find out. They can't stand water. And again, the aforementioned rest period. at least they throw a few decent things in there. As far as, you know, the violence is what it is. It, again, is almost more of a psychological drama with zombie undertones and overtones and zombies lording over you. So it's not bad. I've seen worse. Shudder does have, you know, some pretty good originals. They've hit the high marks as far as, you know, some of their stuff in the last few years. They've also had some bad ones. This falls somewhere just above average, I would say. There are certainly worse ways you could spend your time. Sure, some of the characters make stupid decisions, but if they didn't, it wouldn't be a goddamn zombie movie. And overall, it does kind of hint maybe that we could maybe we could get a sequel, maybe we don't get a sequel. We'll find out. I don't think we're going to get Zombie Virus 32 seconds plus 1, 2. That doesn't really make a whole lot of mathematical sense. I don't think we're going to get a sequel to this, but as far as a 90-minute movie, I've certainly seen worse. Check it out on Shudder if you would like. I'm going to get into spoilers, so these spoilers will not take very long, though. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers! Okay, so Iris lost her son Nico. He drowned, and she's been trying to overcome that stuff. She's still talking to Javi, and they do care about each other, obviously, but she's heartbroken, as any parent would be if they lost their child. No parent should feel that they are going to outlive their children. Thank you, Fritz von Erich. Didn't see you there. Any non-wrestling fans have no idea who the fuck I'm talking about. So yeah, they go... This building, it's just like I said, an amalgamation of a few things. Zombies start attacking. She leaves her daughter on her own to just play in this place that she's never been before. And then a guy named Louise comes in. And Louise needs help because they crashed an ambulance into the building somewhere, seemingly somewhere, and they're and he's got a pregnant wife. He's got a pregnant wife during an impending zombie apocalypse, and she's infected. Oh, big shock, big fucking shock. So it's ripped right from Dawn of the Dead. I'm not saying the Dawn of the Dead didn't rip it from something else, Dawn of the Dead remake, that is. And we get some good stealth stuff in this as well. We do get a particularly good locker room sequence where there's blinking lights and she has to throw tennis balls to distract the zombies and stuff like that. So it's survival horror, the movie. And after it becomes obvious that Luis is basically insane, he wants his wife to give birth, despite the fact that she's infected. And even though she just got infected, the baby's probably infected by the zombie virus, which maybe hints at the possible sequel. And they take her to this empty pool. How many pools does a goddamn, health club with a club beneath need? Is this like, standard for Argentina? Do they need to have that many pools? Why is there an empty pool? Where was this building? Whatever. They get into this pool, this empty pool area, and they throw smoke bombs. Smoke bomb! I guess Krieger was somewhere around there. And these zombies are attacking, I think. This was the point where the movie was getting a little bit weird because they threw the smoke bombs and just did something. I guess it was supposed to be a cool visual. And then it becomes obvious that these zombies can communicate, but also the aforementioned 32 seconds. Iris finds that out and figures out a way to eventually get away from Louise. She helps the zombie mother give birth. The zombie mother's about to crush the kid's skull and eat it, and he shoots the mother to save the baby. What did he think was going to happen? Whatever. So anyway, Iris gets reunited with Tata. She actually sees a child in the incinerator, in the furnace. Oh no, it's my kid. Actually, it isn't her kid. She ends up being reunited with her kid. They escape. There's this 32-second window thing. There's actually a decent tense moment where they're sneaking through a thing with zombies. And then they get caught in the sewers after being unable to get away in a car because the car had a flat tire. And then there's one zombie that's been following them for a while. Just finds them, attacks. She says, "When you hear no more noise, daughter, run for the sea, run for the sea." Louise had a boat and was basically like, "Well, go to the sea." So then she stops hearing noise. And then the zombie's doing this and everything and resting on its knees and stuff like that. And there was this nail gun thing. The daughter holds a nail gun thing, has a flashback of when the family was in happier times. The zombie wakes up and she shoots it in the head. Okay. Oh, and the mother's still alive, and she manages to get the mother away, because I guess that was the only zombie that found them. And they manage to get to a boat and get away. Okay. I mean, whatever. Again, I've seen worse. It wasn't bad. The Silent House was better, but this had good atmosphere, good camera work, acting was decent. It was just, ultimately, the movie was just sort of there as well. C plus is what I'll give it. There's certainly worse ways to waste your time. It's not bad. Maybe you'll enjoy it more than I did. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.